Ah, there's the queen, guys. We found our queen. Hey guys, welcome back to the homestead. My name's Mike and I've got a pretty cool video for you today. We're standing in front of the beehive. I don't know if you guys can see it behind me there, but we're going in there and we're gonna be doing some work today. Now, it's about mid-April and we have some work to do because the bees are very, very active and they're bringing back a ton of pollen. And on my most recent inspection, I saw that there was no activity going on in the bottom lower box, but everything was happening in the upper box and things are getting a little bit packed in that upper box. So I spoke with a local beekeeper, a friend of mine. He said, Mike, what you should do is put the populated box on the bottom and put the empty box on the top, and then you should also put a queen excluder, which I'll show you what that is in a bit, and then a honey super this time of year so that the bees can work their way up and then eventually store a ton of honey in this early spring. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be swapping the box around. We're gonna do a quick inspection. We're looking for queen cells because it's swarming season here in the spring. And yeah, so let's get right in there and check out these bees. All right, I got a pro tip for you guys. So last time I was in the hive, I got stung a whole bunch of times on my wrist because my gloves don't actually cover my wrist. Now I have short gloves and I need to buy a longer pair. I know, could probably get them from Amazon. I just don't have them today. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Basically, when I'm working the hive and I'm doing my thing, I get stung up all in here. The bees know where my skin is. I think they can see in CO2. I think somebody told me that. So they know where the heat spots are. And that's where they sting. So what I'm doing today is I'm using tape and I'm pulling my sweatshirt down like this, and I'm just gonna tape my whole wrist like this with just some blue tape, not going too tight, but this way I still have articulation with my fingers. And now when I take my glove, and watch this, I can slide my glove over the tape just like so. And now when I'm kind of bending and moving, there's no free skin and the bees won't get me. All right, guys, so we're just getting into our first hives here. Our first frames. I always like to start from a side frame just to kind of give myself some room to work, you know, so this way as I'm going through I can kind of use like a filing cabinet and slide them down my way as I get in there. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I take the first frame out and there's not a lot going on here. It's kind of an empty frame. I could tell because it's really light. I'll set that down. And now I can kind of just break these apart like so and just like slide my way through. And I could look down inside of the chambers here and I could determine on what's going on. I mean, pulling each one up I could definitely do. And I am looking for signs of the queen laying. So we want to be looking for, there's a lot of pollen in this frame and they're just building the comb out on the other side, but if you guys can see that, there's all those little like orange blobs at the bottom. That's all pollen or bee food, which is great. So put that guy back in there, and generally the brood population is usually toward the middle frames, and they put a lot of the food on the outside, which makes sense, you know, keep your baby close to home, right? And that's how the bees do it. Now this frame I could tell is a lot heavier and it's full of pollen and it looks like nectar and honey. Oh yeah, lots of food. Lots of bee bread, as they call it. Now this one here looks like it's full of capped brood, and I'm seeing a little bit of food stores, but mostly capped brood. which is great to see. That means that there's going to be a lot of hatching and a larger population coming here soon. And that's what we love to see. So just put that guy back down in there. We'll keep going. Just kind of going brief. They're not attacking me yet, which is good. That's pretty cool. It looks like there's a drone that's being hatched right now. And the bees, when they hatch, they have like a whiter color to them. You could see he's kind of pushing his way out. The way you could tell it's a drone is because it's coming out of one of those large bulbous cells. And those are drone cells. A little bit bigger than regular cap cells, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. No sign of the queen quite just yet. And here we just have a ton of uncapped honey. And you can kind of see it down there. It's a little bit, there's the queen, guys. We found our queen. Look at that. I'm so happy to see that. So let's be very careful here. I just saw her. Oh, here we go. There she is. If you guys can see that there, that's the queen. She's moving. Very cool, guys. She's got a much longer abdominal. So this one I have to be very careful with. But man, she's a healthy queen. These little close up there, see if you guys can spot her. That's exciting. Boy, she is a big girl. She must be laying on one of this outer frame. So I'm going to be very careful, and I'm going to put this one back because we do not want to accidentally smush her. And we're going to call this inspection good. So the general inspection portion of our little trip into the hive here is done. So I'm going to push all these frames back the way I found them, kind of being very careful. We don't really want to smush bees if we don't have to. See, I know there's a lot of them, and if you kill one or two, it's not the end of the world, but if we can prevent it, we will. Just sliding back. Now, I don't have my queen marked, if you guys noticed that. My queen is not marked. I never got around to it, and I don't really care that much. I mainly look for signs of the queen more than the actual queen herself. And when I say signs of the queen, I mean like eggs and brood and things like that. So, smash this one in. Beautiful. Okay, our inspection portion is done, and now we're going to swap the boxes. So I want to move a little bit faster now because the bees aren't happy with me. They're just not happy campers when I come into their hive, just like you wouldn't be if a big giant creepy guy with a helmet on came into your house. So we're moving. I'm going to take this top box, which we know has the queen in it, and I'm going to very delicately and carefully just set it down. And now this box, I'm just going to pull one frame out of the middle. I just want to see if there's any activity in here over the last 2 weeks and see what they've done. Now, like I said at the beginning, bees generally won't build down. They like to build up, and they've built all this frame out with comb, but there's nothing in it, which is not what we're looking for. And it looks like that might be the status quo for the rest of it. They are putting honey stores in there, which is cool, but we want to see brood. We want to see more honey, more activity down in the bottom chamber. So we're just going to swap them. Oh. So we're adding our queen excluder now, and what the queen excluder is going to do is just prevent the queen from coming up into this this upper portion of where we want to collect honey, and honey only. We don't want her to come up and start laying eggs and brood and all that good stuff. So this is called the Honey Super, and it's just it's the same type of box. It's got 10 frames, just a little bit smaller if you can see the depth. So we're going to put this up top. Just like that. Make sure everything's nice and square. We'll put our top back on. We'll add the rest of these. These are pollen patties. And I know somebody mentioned we can put these directly on the frames, but they're a little bit thicker than the frames. I think I left them out here for too long. They might have swelled up a little bit. So they're just not, they're not going to fit, and that's okay. They've eaten a lot of it. We're off to the races. They don't necessarily need that right now to survive. Put our top back on. I've got a brick. Put the brick. All right, guys, so we're back at the garden now. We're back to safety, which is good. The bees were getting a little bit testy there at the end. They weren't happy with me being in there, but, you know, I got to get in there and do what I got to do. So we're going to leave them be. They'll calm down now. They'll be happy, and they'll continue their day. And we won't go in there for a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, more like 2 weeks. We don't want to go too long because it takes about 14 days for a queen cell to be laid as a larva and then hatch into a queen, and then they could swarm. So my goal is to get in there about every 2 weeks, just inspect, look for queen cells, at least until we get past that point of swarming. And then that's really it. So what we did today was we moved our box. We took our large box, put it on the bottom, put the smaller box or the less populated box, put it on top. Now the bees have room to work their way up, which was another thing that will help prevent a swarm. And then lastly, what we did was put a queen excluder on and a honey super. So any extra honey that the bees make, once they fill up their first 2 chambers, they'll move up and they'll fill out all of that with beautiful honey that we're gonna harvest and take for ourselves. So, so yeah, we look forward to that. Hit that thumbs up if you like this video. It really does help circulate the channel. I have a small channel here, and in order to grow, I need your help. I need you guys to hit the thumbs up whenever you can. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more from me, if you like this type of content, if you like homesteading, self-sufficiency, beekeeping, all types of stuff. Hit the subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. And there's going to be a lot of videos to come, so make sure you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you later. Bye.